UFC has announced the headlining main event, and we have another fight night to discuss this weekend in Seattle. So let's talk all about it. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. This is MMA365, greatest UFC news YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe, as 94% of you watching are not currently subscribed. So if you're a regular viewer, or if this is your first video and you enjoy it, then please consider hitting that subscribe button. It helps me out. Thank you. So the UFC has announced Manel Kape versus Kyoji Horiguchi in the Apex. This will be in the dog days of summer, June 20th, right around the White House card. And I think that this is a great fight to make. Both of these guys are among the elite of the flyweight division. They both have a lot of momentum, and now they're fighting each other. I wouldn't exactly call this a title eliminator because it wasn't announced as such, and Alexander Pantoja is injured right now, so I don't know what his timeline is yet. I don't think anyone knows yet. Hopefully he is back soon, and I do think that he does deserve a title shot when he's ready. I mean, he's been the champion for so long, he's beaten so many guys, and lose on a freak accident injury is terribly unlucky. Um, so I hope Pantoja can get a title shot when he is 100% ready to go against either Joshua Van or Tatsuro Taira, presumably. And maybe whoever wins this fight could fight either before or after Pantoja, depending on the timeline. My only complaint about this fight is because it's a fight that I wanted, but I wanted this fight to be in front of a crowd. Manel Kape, he just slimed out Brandon Royval in the Apex. Well, not just, it was like 3 months ago at this point. And Kyoji Horiguchi, I believe his last fight was also in the Apex against Amir Albazi. Both of these guys have a lot of hype moments, and I really wish that this fight could be on a card in Japan. Manel Kape fought in Ryzen before entering the UFC, and Kyoji Horiguchi obviously is Japanese. Um, I I am yearning for an event in Japan. If the UFC is going to more places now, seemingly Macau and places like that, go to Japan. There are a lot of diehard MMA fans there. I think the crowd would be extremely into it. Um, but fight is in the Apex. Kind of the exact opposite of Japan. So mundane. It's the Apex. But I have warmed up to the Apex a little bit recently. Maybe it's Stockholm syndrome, but the last card in the Apex, Kevin Vallejos and Josh Emmett, that card was fantastic. I feel like if you kind of lower your expectations for an Apex event and just take it for what it is, maybe put it on a second screen and just see if any fights are bangers, you will probably end up pleasantly surprised. Um, there are only usually one, maybe two fights with ranked people in the Apex, fights with actual stakes, but you're just looking to like see people go to war. Apex is a pretty good place to do that. The tight knit crowd, be nice. It is kind of good for the Apex, getting that better volume, hearing the shots land, can make for some pretty hype moments because to like hear the impact of shots, it's pretty cool. Um, but good matchmaking. I just really wish that this fight was in front of a crowd. And speaking of crowds, UFC's going to Seattle again this weekend. Main event: Israel Adesanya against Joe Pyfer. Oh boy, I'm sorry, but if Israel Adesanya loses this, like I'm gonna crash out. Just like Joe Pyfer, he's coming off a win over Abu Smagomedov. I think that's the last time that Joe Pyfer fought, and he's getting all the way up the rankings now. Israel Adesanya, the former longtime middleweight champion, he's in a little bit of a rut right now. I don't think he's won since knocking out Alex Pereira in 2022, 2023. 3-fight losing streak for Israel Adesanya. Um, as for who I think will win this fight, I mean, only advantage that Joe Pyfer has is power. If Joe Pyfer can land a big overhand right hook, then maybe Israel he can knock out Izzy, but I really think that's his only path to winning, um, which is genuinely possible because Adesanya's chin has looked a little bit more suspect lately. Dricus du Plessis landed hard shots against him, and Nasruddin Imavov also finished Izzy. Uh, but I just don't know if Joe Pyfer is on that level yet. But now's his chance to prove himself. Who are you, Joe Pyfer? We're gonna find out. As for the co-main, Alexa Grasso against Macy Barber. Um, I think this is the first time Macy Barber fought since pulling out literally on the walkout, and the that fight was also in the Apex. Um, she gets Alexa Grasso, and I think this is the kind of fight that we need. I feel like the women's divisions have become a little bit stagnant as of late. I mean, um, Wiley Zhang moved up to fight Valentina Shevchenko, and Valentina Shevchenko at this point has kind of just been like, yeah, whatever. And then Kayla Harrison has a pretty severe neck injury. I still haven't heard any news on that. Um, so I'm glad that we're getting some momentum in the women's divisions. I think that we need this. And the featured fight, Michael Chiesa against Nico Price. I saw this and I was like, ugh. But I'll get to it in a second. I think that the UFC actually did kind of cook with this card. This is a retirement fight for Michael Chiesa. This is supposed to be his last fight in the UFC, and he's from Seattle. So why not let him fight, retire in his home crowd? I think that's nice. Uh, Nico Price is stepping in on short notice, and I'm a little worried for Nico Price because he got brutally knocked out like in like 6 weeks ago. That was a Nikolai Veretennikov, and yeah, Nico Price got completely chinned not that long ago. But he's back in the octagon against Michael Chiesa. Chiesa is pretty far from a knockout artist, so um, yeah. So long, Michael Chiesa. May you go out on a win. I think that would be nice. Julian Rosa against Ariane Douglas. This is a fight. I have no comment. But I do think that the UFC actually did cook the prelims. If you're anything like me, you're like going at this card from top to bottom, and then I hit Michael Chiesa and Julian Rosa, and you're like, oh god. But they actually kind of cooked this undercard. Mansour Abdul Malik against Yusri Belgori. I think that this fight could actually be a banger. Abdul Malik, he's a rising middleweight contender, and Yusri Belgori, I think this guy could be something in the UFC. His first fight was against Azamat Bakoyev, and Bakoyev was a really big favorite, but Belgori knocked him out. And Belgori, he trains with Alex Pereira and his team. He's a giant middleweight. He's 6'4" and has a big frame. Both of these guys, I think, could be legit. So I have this card. This fight has my full attention. I'm especially looking forward to that. Terrence McKinney, all of his fights are finishes, one way or the other. And he gets Kyle Nelson, the Canadian. Hopefully they'll have fun. I will probably have fun watching. Ignacio Bahamondes fights Tafik Musayev. I don't know who Tafik Musayev is, but Ignacio Bahamondes, he's usually in fun fights. He's was ranked in the lightweight division. I think he got a number 15 spot at one point. So this is another chance for him, and he probably is a heavy favorite here. Chase Hooper, potential redemption arc for him, going up to lightweight against Lance Gibson Jr. Hopefully both of these guys have fun. And then Marcin Tybura, one of the heavyweight gatekeepers of the world. It's Tyrell Fortune. So another ranked fighter on this card. I was pleasantly surprised by these prelims because I was expecting the worst. I was expecting like a London level card where there's no depth, but I think this card actually has depth. I think the match placement is a little questionable, but there are several fights in here that I'm actually looking forward to. And hopefully the people in Seattle get a good fights all around. As last time they were in Seattle, that was Henry Cejudo against Song Yadong, I believe, and that fight ended prematurely due to an eye poke. And yeah, that was a little bit of a letdown. So hopefully it isn't a letdown this time. People of Seattle deserve it. Seattle's really far away from everywhere else. Look at it on a map. Be surprised how far away Seattle is from everything. So good on the UFC for going back to Seattle. And I do think that this card could have several bangers. That'll conclude this video for now. Be sure to subscribe if you enjoyed it, and thank you for watching.